Hello and welcome to the Queen Sword YouTube channel, which I'm going to use for video reviews of mainly digital decks and classical decks, hard to find or out of print. This first ever video review will be of the Tarot of Eons. The Tarot of Eons is made by programmer and digital artist Vadim Temkin, and Vadim tried to make a completely three-dimensional deck. So in this deck, three-dimensional modeling is used, and about 150 people, animals, and many hundreds of objects. This took about almost a year to design it, and in processor years, that is 300 years. Actually, I have no idea what that means, but it sounds really intriguing. Anyway, the Tarot of Eons comes in a wooden box. This is not very common for a deck, not even when it's a self-published deck, so it's really cool to have. According to Mr. Temkin, this is handmade. Well, at least what I can show you, if you can see it on camera, is the fact that it says Tarot of Eons on the box. It's really sturdy one. And even if you don't want to use it for the deck and you rather have your decks wrapped in silk, for example, you can use this one for jewelry or crystals or maybe another deck, I don't know. But it is absolutely sturdy and great when it comes to added materials. Then when it comes to the deck, Tarot of Eons actually sounds intriguing, and the name comes from the fact that the theme of the deck is eons and continents. For example, the wands are from Africa, the cups are from the Greco-Roman civilization, the sword from the medieval times, the pentacles from the Imperial Orient, and the major arcana, they all have something from multiple spiritual traditions. So in that way, despite the fact it's already digital art, and it spans eons, continents, people of color, it reminds me a bit of Eric C. Dunn's work. For example, his latest Tarot Apocalypsis was also many cultures, many belief systems, religions, traditions. That's what they have in common. But if you see the deck, which I'm going to show you now, you will see that it isn't the same. It is theme-wise, it's a bit the same, but the deck is completely different. Well, you're already seeing the backs, and as you can see at first sight, you would think you can use them as reversals, but because there is a line in the middle, actually not. Because if you reverse this one, you can see there's a slight difference. It will be lower. So here you have the upright, and then a little lower here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but you can see the reversed line. So unfortunately, if you have good eyesight, you won't be able to use this as a reversible deck. Okay, so let me show you a few cards. I already tried to use it so it's not in order, so I'll just show you a few. Select the Three of Swords, the King of Wands, the Page of Cups, the Ten of Cups. Vadim Temkin tried to stay true to the Wade-Smith deck. So as you can see, many of the scenes you can see in the scenic cards are similar to what you know from the Wade-Smith, like the Eight of Cups, the guy in the red cape who walks away from the cups. Of course, they're not entirely the same, but the whole idea, it is the same, it's recognizable. So if you're a beginner, this could be a good deck to step into. It will be easy to use, especially, of course, if you're advanced. Seven of Cups, where you have to make the choice with different items in the cups. Ten of Pentacles, it's a little bit different. Four of Swords, for example, is very much the same as the one in the Wade-Smith. Five of Swords, Six of Swords, also very RWS. Most of the cards are. Let me see if I can show you a few. of the majors. I think they're in the beginning almost. Okay, this is very fast forward. Okay, so here we have Death. I'm not sure what his thought was behind these cards, some of these cards, because when I see Death, for example, to me it's a bit funny. Dancing with Death, it's taken very literal, but it's a skeleton, and well, this is a naked man. Actually, well, I've just shown you a few cards, and these are actually very good examples that I'm showing you now. Death and the Devil, and then Hanged Man. Sometimes in the tarot community or on some forums, there's discussion about the fact that in decks you see a lot of female nudity and not a lot of male nudity. Well, if that is something you worry about or you would like to see in your deck, then maybe this could be one for you. There is a lot of male nudity or scarcely dressed gentlemen. There's a lot of naked butts, so to speak. For me, I'm not an extreme fan of digital art, especially if you can really see it. And in this case, this deck, the Tarot of Eons, reminds me a bit of like those games you have, like The Sims, or some years ago you had Second Life, where you could pretend you had indeed a second life, and you could spare points and save points and buy your own castle there and start a new relationship. When we talk about digital art, we usually think about something different, but this is very game-like. It's very Second Life. The way you see the cards, you can see it's 3D. I'm not sure if it translates that well on camera, but you can actually see when you look at the cards it's 3D, and that's why it's really too bad I'm not in the possession of Google Glass or a 3D app so I could show you through that. But you can see the dimensions in the card. That's really cool, and there are some very cool cards in the deck, but you really have to like this game vibe, let's call it that. The Lovers, and especially with this card, there's really a lot of depth in it, so the 3D angle really shows with this card. I do like the Moon, and there we have the Sun and yet another naked man. I really don't mind nakedness, but in this deck I do wonder if there's maybe some homoerotic point to it. I'm not sure, I haven't asked the designer, so this is just a suggestion of my part. Talking about the suggestion, this is quite suggestive. So you've seen most of the deck now. Card quality, well, I think it's comparable to most mass market decks. It's flexible. It's not very thick, but it's also not too thin. I think it will hold up to quite some shuffling. And I have very small hands, but for me it was easy to shuffle. It's not a very large deck, so I usually use overhand shuffling like this. That's very easy. For me this is too difficult because I can barely hold them, but if you want you could shuffle like that as well. So like I said, the box it comes in, it's cool, it's good quality, it has a name on the bottom. The deck really has to be your taste. If you like digital art, this could be something for you. The 3D element is something that will be used later on in an app. So you could hold your phone over it, or if you have Google Glass, you could use it like that. But even without that, you can see the depth in several cards. But but it reminds me a little bit of how games are designed. That's really the vibe I'm getting from it. So what I've heard from Vadim is that he wants to start a Kickstarter campaign to get this deck onto the market. So as far as I know, he hasn't started it yet. There isn't a link, but if you go to my website, www.thequeensword.com, you will see an article on my website that's also called Tarot of Eons. It has a few bullet points for those who didn't want to see the clip. And there you will also see a few YouTube links where he shows the 3D art. So on the left you have the normal card like this one, and then on the right you will see the card as it should be when you're wearing those glasses or when you're using the app. And on the same links on his website, tarotofeons.com, you can find the companion. There's no companion with the deck or in the box. The companion will be digital as well, and you will have to click on one of the cards and then it will flip over and you can see what astrological sign is linked to it, and there is some Kabbalah in it if you're interested in that. And he has a few meanings that are more linked to mythology or certain belief systems, and in that case not so much Wade Smith. Of course the standard is there, but he has some deviations from it, and sometimes very interesting ones. And like I said, with the card of death, which is very literal, actually he also calls that one Dancing with Death. So perhaps that's why. Okay, this was my first ever video review. I'm still learning, so forgive me if I'm saying too much and am forgetting things. I won't be doing this too much because I love writing and I love to show you several cards in a row and when you can read it at your own leisure. But this one was cool to do because it's such a digital deck and there are not many things like that. So thank you for watching, and maybe see you next time. Bye!